guys, so I'm hoping today is going to be a fun and exciting day. It's one that I've been looking forward to. We've got to go and do some admin first, but after that we're going to go do some shopping. Yay! So the admin is I'm going to the MTN centre in Nyarutarama, which is kind of their head office, to see if we can set up mobile money payment. And then I'm heading into town to T2000, which is this department store that basically everybody goes to for kitchenware, like crockery plates, things like that, and bits and pieces. It's very, very cheap. It's all sort of very, very cheap Chinese imported stuff. But that's fine. That's what a lot of people need. Like if you're buying en masse for like a restaurant or something, that's what you need. We're going to get on the bike. Let's go and tackle Momo first. It looks like it's getting stormy. I think today's going to be a rainy day. So I'm actually not taking my motorbike because if you saw, last time I went into town on my motorbike, I literally drove into town, round around the car park, there was nowhere to park. And today I haven't got it in me to deal with Kigali traffic. So I'm going to take a public motorbike and then I can just hop on, hop off whenever I want to go and shop. And I'm also curious because the price of petrol has pretty much doubled in the past week or two, and I want to see what the prices of motos are now. I'm expecting them to be expensive, which is a problem because like motos used to be cheap and that's why everybody uses them to go everywhere. So I'm going to go and see if I can still afford to take a moto. Yeah, let's get on the road, let's get stuff done.
Doesn't matter, weak or strong. Take your time and do your tricks. All I do is sing along. Yeah, I need you around for brighter light and firmer ground. When you believe in me, love is gonna set me free.
Come up these steps here into Teddy Mill. So when you get to Teddy Mill, there's an area where you have to leave your bags, so you can't go into the shop with bags. Once you finish shopping, you come back through the security gates and they will check your receipt, and then you go over here and they will help you to pack whatever you've bought. So yes. And you get a little security key that you mustn't lose. So I'm armed only with a shopping trolley, my shopping list and a pen. Let's go buy stuff. So if you're on foot, you'd usually go up those steps, but if you've got a trolley, there's a ramp over the side, so you can just go up here. Everything that we need is pretty much on the upper floor because we're here to get plates and cutlery and things like that. So you just push your trolley up here. Oh, ladders. T2000, it's full of random things. We've got bedding and boxes and pillows, all sorts. I'm curious about the price of bedding. This says 45,000 for quilt bedsheet pillowcases. That is actually better than AliExpress. Not as many different patterns or as nice, but definitely affordable. 40,000. I'd have to check the size of them, but it's really not badly priced, and that's why people come here. It's not always good quality, in fact it's very rarely good quality, but generally the prices are, oh look at this, not too bad. So these are the aisles that we're here for. Usually there's lots more colours and different types of plates. It all looks a bit uniform at the moment, but yeah. You also need to be quite careful because a lot of the goods are a little bit damaged, especially the ceramics. So just check things carefully before you put them in your trolley. Yeah, it's a bit sad actually. Their kind of supply looks kind of, I hate to say it, but a little bit boring at the moment. You usually find some really nice different coloured plates and things, and it all just looks a bit uniform. I like these mugs, very big. And then you've got stuff like this, which says it's on Christmas promotion, even though we're on, what are we on? March? April? But even on promotion, it's 250,000, which, I don't know, that seems like a lot. So yeah, furniture is definitely not good quality, but it is very, well, there's a lot of it, but it's not great quality, and it is quite expensive, like 350,000 for, yeah, look at that, selling for 350,000, and it's like totally trashed. Maybe they have others in store, maybe that's just a display one. But I think you could get something nicer made locally for that price. But it's the cutlery, the crockery, that's what everybody comes here for. Oh, that's quite nice. Used to be years ago that all of this was plastic. Like, you couldn't get ceramics in Kigali. And I've said before, it's like, I liked it when it was plastic because I tend to drop things a lot. And also working in a restaurant, I mean, yeah, you maybe don't want plastic for a restaurant, but in the kitchen area, you definitely drop things a lot. So, ooh, chili con carne bowls, maybe. But yeah, if you look at the prices of these, that's really good. You could definitely kit out a restaurant. So yes, I don't mean to trash the furniture, but this is not somewhere I would come for furniture, but it is definitely somewhere for kitchenware, and also cookware. They've got a quite extensive cookware range. But yeah, one of the reasons that we need to buy so much crockery and kitchenware is because, like I said, Casa Kesa was a tapas bar originally, and so all the plates are like really small tapas things and not great for serving like full meals. I want to serve some bigger meals. Yes. Well, these are really pretty. I want to serve a banana split, which requires a very particular type of bowl, and that's nice. I think it might be a bit too big for that, but it is pretty. I wonder if we could use it for something else. Definitely thinking I might go with these for the serving chili con carne, and I think that's the perfect size for a portion. One thing that we were always really well known for was children's activities on the weekend. And what we could do is we could include a children's snack plate. Look at these, they've got these cute little plates with koalas and teddy bears. They're quite cute. I don't know if they're quite cute enough, but they're a good idea. Like, they'd be the perfect sort of size for a children's snack plate. But look, this guy here's missing an ear. So, like I say, you have to be really careful before you put it into your basket. And these cups here are very pretty, but like they're really badly cracked, chipped and cracked. It's a bit of a strange shop, you know. Some things are incredible and amazing and you want them, and other things you're like, Oh, this is another aisle that I definitely need to look at, because we need to replace all the towels. Our towels are like sandpaper, and these are nice and soft. Yeah, they're lovely, they're perfect. So need to get a few of those. This is also an aisle that I'm interested in because it's got little takeaway containers, and that's a big thing here. If you go to a restaurant and you don't finish your meal, you can just ask to take it away. But I think that's $8.50 per carton rather than per stack, which is quite expensive really. Oh, cheaper ones here, $3.50 for these. But yeah, people do expect to be able to take food home if they haven't finished it. I think maybe that's something for a later shopping trip. Yeah. Some places do charge now for the takeaway container, but I don't know, I think for like $2.20, I think I'd rather just people take it home and eat it rather than waste food. because you know, what are we going to do with it if they leave it? You know, you're not going to serve it again, are you? So they might as well just take it. Yeah, so this is what I mean about like cookware. You've got pots and pans. It's not really displayed terribly well, is it? It's just like, let's just throw it all on a shelf. And you know, these, I've got a couple of these. They're really interesting. I've got a couple of different pots by this manufacturer, and I'm not sure what it is. It's a very strange material, but it's completely and totally and absolutely non-stick. Like the easiest pan I've ever cleaned in my life. So I don't know quite what the material is, but I have bought a few of them and I love them very, very much. They've all got this kind of like speckled pattern on them. Yeah, but they're brilliant. They use very, very little oil, and you can just cook everything to perfection and it doesn't stick at all. It's a bit of a voyage of discovery around here. Yeah, I bought one of these. I think a slightly larger one of these, or it might have been that size. I might get a few of these because they are really, really easy to clean and very, very good. There are some unusual things here that you just don't find anywhere else. So one thing I'm going to be implementing is mugger tea and mugger coffee. So mug of tea and mug of coffee. The reason is because you can go to a cafe or restaurant and buy really fancy coffee like a latte or a cappuccino. But you know, some days you just want that big old mug of coffee, mug of tea, like not the fancy stuff, just like really straightforward stuff. And I want to give that as an option. These are incredible. Look at that. That's a massive mug. Very, very tempting, but the problem with this one is I feel like it's so big that your tea or coffee would be cold very quickly. So I think maybe a slightly more sensible sized mug would be a good idea. But I like that idea of just offering that as an option, because also it keeps people there a bit longer. You know, if you've got a nice big mug of tea, mug of coffee, you might want a snack by the time that you've finished it. You know, you're not too sure. I'm not too sure. I'm just wandering at the moment and staring at things. I've got to give myself permission to buy, because often when I'm here I'm like, oh, you know, watching the budget, and you know, I am watching the budget, but also I do need to buy stuff. I need to start putting stuff in my cart. So far I've bought some of these for the chili con carne because I think that's the perfect serving size, and I'm buying these for, I'm doing, oh that was a bit damaged, I'm doing nkoko couscous, so like the Moroccan style couscous with vegetables and chicken. I'll just swap that one out, but I really like the colour of these and the style. They're not very uniform, they're kind of a bit sort of okay. But I've also discovered something else, because I want to do like a traditional oh, stop tapping on the microphone, mate. I want to do like a traditional ugali with a bean or a meat sauce, and I've just been looking at this. These plates are perfect because you can put the sauce on here and the ugali on there, so that would make a really nice meal. Oh my god, this guy just keeps banging on the microphone. Stop banging on the microphone. So yeah, I'm just checking through and almost all of them have got a defect on the handle. I think T2000 is like the, in the UK you used to get like shop outlets where they'd sell things cheaper if they weren't perfect. And I think that's what this is. It's like an offloading bay for stuff that has got a problem. But I just don't want to get that because that looks like it might break more easily. So yeah, they've all got exactly the same defect in exactly the same place. Okay, so things are progressing quite well, but I'm having a dilemma because I love these bowls. We're going to do stuffed pepper, and that looks like a pepper. And I'm tempted, but I think it's not quite right, because I think you could do a lovely stuffed pepper in that, but I think it would be quite hard to cut it. Like, you know, you've got to really be able to cut through a stuffed pepper, and I think maybe I think maybe it looks nice, but it's not the best idea. These would be better plates, but most of them are really badly damaged. They're very nice and they're heavy and weighty, but all of them are like chipped and broken, so I don't think I can find enough of them to buy. These are unusual. But I'd feel kind of slightly impractical. I think sort of stuff would just roll off the plate. But very interesting. I love stuff I haven't seen before. I feel like realistically these are more stuffed pepper plates. They're quite cool. Okay, so my major dilemma at the moment is for the fish dish. I really like these plates. They're very striking. They look like water. And I also quite like these ones. They're blue and they've got a lip around them, and they're also very heavy, so they feel quite substantial. But both of these are really large, and I just wonder if, you know, there'll be enough on the plate to make it look good, because otherwise it's going to look a bit like a meagre plate, and it's not a cordon bleu restaurant or anything. I do keep coming back to these here. I'm really tempted, but again, I just think it's not very practical. I think as you're eating, stuff's just going to fall over the lip. Just noticed these as well. These are quite cool. So you can have a sauce. I've also found these that I quite like. But again, it's finding enough of them that aren't broken. That's the problem. That's quite nice as well. They're all just chipped and damaged. It's, you know, whatever I can find enough of that isn't completely broken, I might buy. Initially, it looks like there's loads of choice, but when you actually start reading through, it's a little bit limited. And it's kind of trying to decide what I can make do with. There are things missing, like little jugs for pouring and ramekins, things like that, you know, but we shall continue. I can't find ramekins that are the right size. I wonder if you could do creme brulee in a teacup. I bet you could. I think we should give that a go. Again, the problem is I can't find enough of them. They're like really sort of grotty, and you could wash that off, but I know they're slightly different sizes. That one's perfect. I mean, seriously, just look at this. What even is this? And then you find something that would be perfect, and it's the only one on the shelf, and you've got no idea where it came from. Honest to goodness, this guy on the microphone, before he talks into it, he keeps tapping the microphone and whistling into it. Next dilemma is for the banana split. These are really beautiful bowls, but they're quite wide, so it's not going to look very impressive. Whereas these ones are the perfect size for a banana split, but they're not very inspiring in the pattern. There's this one here, which is also quite nice. I feel like it's maybe just a little bit too small or round. Really struggling to decide. You know what, sod it. I really like these plates, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to absolutely pack them. It's not going to be a cheap dish, but we're absolutely going to pack them with fruit, bananas, cream, you name it. We'll make it a statement piece. Okay guys, I think that's that for crockery and kitchenware at the moment. I'm going to find some help to get it downstairs. Actually, I need to get a couple of pots and pans. There's a lot of kitchenware stuff like this, but I actually think we've got most of what we need in that department. We might need to get some more knives and forks at some point. I need to go and count what we've got. Okay, so I've asked somebody to help me get everything down from upstairs, and I'm just having a little wander around the downstairs to see if there's anything else that I need. They even sell bicycles if you need them. Yeah, maybe a good place for children's bicycles. I mean, like, even the children's toys are completely falling apart. But if you can find one or two that are okay, that haven't got problems, then it's worth it because it's cheap. But it's just depressing when you walk around. They've got quite a good stationery area, so they've got these that are sort of holders so you can put your menus in these, but they're not quite right. They're just slightly restrictive. So I'm looking for something similar for our menus so that they don't blow away in the wind. Almost right, but not quite. But they do have quite a large gift section, children's toys, yeah, and stationery. And randomly also in the stationery section is a face massager. I assume that's a face massager, but yeah, the fewer questions asked the better. And I think it's only fair to finish up in the snacks section. Ooh, I don't know what these are, but if I don't know what something is, I usually get it. I'm just having a little nosy around the prices. They've got Gibson's Gin 28, Amarula 44,000. I'm just checking because I need to find a booze supplier, and I just want to kind of compare prices between shops. Oh my god, that's 57,000 for a box of wine. I remember when it was 30. Oh my goodness, everything is so damn expensive now. I feel like 32,000 for Gordon's probably isn't too bad actually. That's quite reasonable. They've got vanilla essence, but it's two different types, one dark, one light, and I don't know what the difference is. Some unusual stuff as well that you don't find in other places. Oh, I know what these are. These are watermelon seeds, I think. They're quite nice. I saw snow fungus here at one point, and Emmy made a soup from it. Oh, here we are. Here. I think this is it. So yes, I was talking to Pac at IMIA about this. So at some point I might see if he will prepare it for me. One of the few places you can get noodles as well. They used to do glass noodles, which are made from sweet potato, I think. And I absolutely love those, but they don't seem to have them anymore. But yeah, if you just want a change of flavour, I always find myself either at Sharma's or here, just for something I haven't tried before. I was just looking at the price of their oil. It does look quite good actually, because I've realised that our deep fat fryers take a lot of oil, and of course you need one for vegetable stuff and one for meat stuff, and then you have to change the oil every few days, so it's a very expensive way of cooking. So looking for cheaper oil is always very important. I was really hoping this was corn syrup, but it's some kind of moringa. Weird fact, but I have a bit of a bad reaction to moringa. Oh, that's powder, not syrup. Oh, that's why I'm so confused. Honestly, I've been here for a while now, I'm quite tired. And I've just discovered this. It says it's a vodka flavoured energy drink or energy mix. Isn't that like an oxymoron? Like, isn't the vodka going to send you to sleep? That sounds like a very strange concept. So yes, now the fun begins. I've got 4 shopping trolleys and a basket to get through checkout. So I'm just sitting on the steps at the moment whilst they pack everything up. So when you come through and you've paid, a guy will take your receipt and they will count meticulously everything that you've bought. And then once they've done that, they'll help you to box up things into cardboard boxes and package it. And I've also asked them to help me to find a taxi. So after that, the guy's going to go get me a taxi. I'm going to put everything in the taxi and take it all to Casa Casa, which is another good reason for not bringing my bike today, because I want to travel with everything I've bought to the restaurant rather than following behind on a motorbike. So it's good. It's not bad. I mean, it's very, very busy. It's always incredibly busy here, so you've got to have some patience. But it's generally quite good. Oh, that's all my stuff. we're going to be taking a taxi back to the restaurant with everything. Oh, and here comes the second one. We've got one box there and one box here.
Small.
We fucking Rwanda, small. Small.
Are you from?
UK.
UK.
All I do is sing along. Yeah, I need you around for brighter light and firmer ground. When you believe in me, love is gonna set me free.
Hagarara. Here you go.
Hari.
Here you go. Okay guys, so I'm going home. I spent so long at T2000 today, and we'll walk on the road. Yeah, I spent so long at T2000 today and I am just absolutely knackered. But I got a lot of stuff. I think we've got most of the plates that we're gonna need. But I'm going home now because I haven't really eaten today. I didn't have any lunch. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna go and get some food, watch some Netflix. Tomorrow I am not going anywhere. I'm gonna sort out the menu and start advertising for staff. But it's really nice because I've got a lovely friend called Grace, and she works from Casacasa, so even though we're closed, I still sort of let her go there and work. And so often when I get there in the afternoon and the evening, she's sitting there and we have a little bit of a chat and she listens to me rant and rave and debrief, and then I head home again. So that's where I'm going. Okay, so I've just got home and I have a whole load of treats from T2000 that I forgot about in my bag, and I'm gonna eat the noodles and some of those little what's it snacks. Oh, it's that wonderful feeling when you open your bag and you forgot that you filled it full of good stuff. Yeah, it's been a really long day, like buying all the stuff for the kitchen. I'll show you what I bought soon, but buying everything for the kitchen has absolutely drained me. It's weird, it was like this kind of zone where time didn't exist. Like I think I got there about like, I don't know, 11:30 in the morning or something. And yeah, I don't know where the time went. But yeah, considering like the small selection of stuff, it took me so long to decide what to get, and I was just like walking around and around. So yeah, and I got back to Casacasa, sat and had a chat with Grace, and then came home. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna eat. Oh, this is exciting. It's got little dried pieces in it. Got dried vegetable. Oh, I put a bit too much water in, but let's put this in. Ooh, that's weird. Looks like peanut butter. Oh, it tastes really good. Very salty and umami kind of. That's really nice. I don't know what it is. Looks like peanut butter sauce. Tastes like some kind of salty, savoury goodness. Right, ho, let's give this a taste. Ooh. It's good. I put too much water in, but it's good. Could do with an egg. Should have put an egg in. Yeah, it's not bad. It doesn't taste of a huge amount. Let me try the broth. Yeah, just kind of salty, umami. Nothing particularly stand out, but it's dinner.
I just didn't stop to eat all day. It's good.